Today's video, we're going to talk about audience fragmentation on Facebook ads. Don't fall for Facebook's BS on whether or not you, or for them recommending that you combine your audiences, combine your ad groups together so that you don't have this so-called audience fragmentation. Having multiple audiences is important if you want a good ROI on your Facebook ad spend. Of course, Facebook doesn't care if you get an ROI ultimately. There'll be somebody else that buys that ad space. And to please their shareholders, they're going to suggest things that'll let you waste more money. Ultimately, that's what the crux of the situation is. Most YouTubers aren't going to tell you that, but that's the reality with this audience fragmentation BS. Now, that said, there is some like usual, there are some instances where combining your ad groups together will put you in position to get more profit long term. But that's not nearly the majority of the cases of what's right for the advertiser to use to get themselves into a more profitable position. I'm going to talk about why that's the case, where we actually combined audiences when Facebook has suggested it, and so you understand if you should actually do this for yourself or when you should actually do this for yourself if you are going to consider doing it. Okay, so getting into the content, if you run multiple ad groups in a campaign, you're likely going to have this message show up for you at some time or another. It's just a matter of when. Facebook, bottom line, wants control over your money. They have, what business would you hand over your wallet and say, hey, spend as much as you'd like? I will be okay with it. And naturally you could say, well, I know what my return is and I set Facebook to get me such and such a return. But as any experienced advertiser knows, the return, you can't expect it right away. There's a period of time from the time that you start advertising something new to the time it actually starts getting you the return that you want. Do you want to throw a bunch of money away before you get to the return you want? Because I will tell you up front, combining audiences is okay if all you care about is the return you have and you just want more sales. Then it could be okay. That's the one situation where it could be okay. But if you're not in that situation, you want a better return, and the new stuff that you want, that you do, the new campaigns that you run, you want to return quicker or as quick as possible, you don't want to combine all of your ad groups and therefore your audiences together in order to get rid of this so-called warning. Facebook's system can still see your data between all these different ad groups. They just want you to combine the ad groups together so that the non-performing ad groups / audiences, you won't actually see them and easily eliminate them. If you only have one ad group and it's not performing very well, the inclination is to say, well, I have to advertise somewhere, so I'll just keep doing it. Versus if you have 4 ad groups, in other words, and you see one's producing 1,000% ROI, another's producing 800% ROI, another's producing 300% ROI, and there's another one producing 100% ROI. A lot of people in that situation, I know because I deal with business owners every day, are going to just say, even though the 100% ROI campaign could turn around, and it would turn around if it gave it a little bit more time a lot of the times for that campaign just to run a little longer. Most of the time it would. They'd just get rid of the 100% ROI right away, which puts Facebook in position to eat it on the amount of money that they can extract out of a particular advertiser. And then even on the ad group where you do have that's left, it has to go struggle to go find a return that it can even get 100% ROI. So you can see from that perspective why Facebook would let you just combine it all, because you're more likely to keep going with lackluster performance if it's either I either do Facebook ads or I don't, versus what we get to pick and choose what we want to actually stick with at any given time. So that's why they do it. Obviously this is not listed anywhere, but this is the obvious answer why they do it. They want to control what you're spending as much as they can. And in any situation where you have one thing and you say, Facebook, just spend it, they have the most control and therefore the most ability to manipulate you into spending more money. If you separate audiences, you could optimize your campaigns more quickly as well. So if you're looking for a certain return, you're looking for 1,000% ROAS on your campaigns or whatever, or generating leads, $10 a lead. you're going to be able to get to that $10 a lead or 1,000% ROAS quicker if you separate your audiences out and then single out audiences quickly that aren't really going to look like going to do very well and get rid of them quickly, because the algorithms, what it does is it's going to spend more time testing audiences that don't work because they want to sell that ad space to somebody, ultimately, the broke people that never buy anything because they want to monetize that ad space. They're apt to just run your ads more inefficiently for longer and take advantage of the fact that you and most people out there are lazy and don't want to hyper-segmentate their campaigns. And then therefore you end up spending a lot more money before you ever get to your target ROAS or target cost per lead that you know you need to be acceptably profitable with your campaign. Versus if you segment out and you create 10 audiences, you can quickly find the 2 that basically don't get you any sales at all or any leads at all and just get rid of them right away. So in other words, bottom line, you're going to get to the end result that you want with your campaign or baseline profitability that you're going for quicker using multiple audiences, despite what the warning tells you to do otherwise. We've seen a cosmetics brand combine the audiences. Specifically, we were working on their campaigns. They suggested it. I like when clients suggest, hey, I want to try this anyway, even though something doesn't make sense to me because I get to see and make these videos about what we do, and we do random experiments here. But cosmetic brand combined audiences for them when this audience fragmentation warning showed up on our particular campaign. With that, conversions went down substantially right away when we did that, which makes sense because anytime you make a significant change like that in Facebook or on Google as well, or other platforms that are algorithmically driven in terms of the ad system, the algorithm doesn't like change, it doesn't know what to do, so it's going to, basically shit the bed. Conversions went down substantially short term and didn't really come back for 30 days to where they were at originally in terms of number of conversions. And then even when it did come back to where it was, we were only getting about 5% additional growth in conversions on the account after that, once we combined all the audiences. So it wasn't like for all the downside of having the conversions take a hit short term over that 30-day period where, it was the campaign was readjusting. To get a 5% growth rate, which that isn't terrible, but you're not, what this signifies is you're also not going to get stratospheric growth either, probably, combining your audiences together. This 5% growth in conversions was at a similar ROI as we had before. So it was able to scale the growth. Now, can you scale the growth quicker if you do your own ad groups and segmentation of the different audiences and different ad groups? Yes, you can. It just takes more work. Where I would suggest you combine audiences, now going into where it will help you. If you already have a great ROI and you've ran out of ideas of different campaigns you can target, because a lot of times you can find a different audience to target with a different ad. So if you're selling to people that have weight loss, and then one of the things you can do is run an ad group for just males and then have pictures of male on there of a male losing weight versus having a female-only ad group for females. If you can't think of any more ideas like that to do hyper-segmentation of your campaigns to scale your growth quicker, which that should not happen to you until you've done a bunch of different testing. That's a situation in time where Facebook, I've ran out of ideas to scale my account. Go ahead, we'll combine all the audiences together and let you take on the growth from here. Why do you do that? Because the algorithm, using the power of computation and all the data about all the conversions you have, they're going to be able to look at all of it and eventually get you more conversions through random split testing that they do on their end. And I shouldn't say random, but through the power of deep learning models and so on and so forth. Whereas if you use your mind, though, you typically can grow conversions quicker, you can get to a certain ROI quicker, and you're going to have less waste doing things yourself in that regard. That's a situation where getting rid of the audience fragmentation warning and going with the flow with Facebook actually would be to your advantage to actually do it. And if you're not in that situation where you at least have the ROI you want, and you can't, and you've ran out of ideas to grow your account, like I just mentioned, where you can do segmentation of different audiences with different messages for different people, or just try out different audiences and want to quickly weed out the ones that aren't working instead of letting it run forever. And, Facebook giving it chance after chance after chance, then you want to do manual, you want to run your campaigns as manually as you can, because you'll get quicker growth, less waste to get you to a certain target that you're looking for, ultimately that way. Downside being it's more work, but you pay a premium of letting Facebook take charge of your entire ad budget. Okay, that's just the way that it always is going to be. So with that said, that's audience fragmentation in a nutshell, what this is about. And it's mainly about Facebook getting control of your budget so they can convince you to spend more, because you can't see the glaring holes where your budget's going that's not getting you any sales that particular way. If you have any questions about anything I covered here or anything else that you'd like to ask, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. I'll use my 15 years of ad experience to try to give you the best answer I can and get you onto the right path of what you're doing, just as a thank you for watching the channel and helping the channel grow. With that said, if you are looking for a channel to subscribe to where you're looking for information on how to scale your business to millions more per year on the backs of an advertising campaign that you're trying to put together for your brand, this is the channel you want to subscribe to already, as this information comes from firsthand experience. I manage, and not to even say manage, but I actually strategize dozens of ad accounts on an ongoing basis, testing this, testing that on Facebook, Google, and all the ad platforms to find out all the information about what works and what doesn't work, and then give it to you all my viewers on this channel on a silver platter to take advantage of. Most of the other information you find on YouTube as well as on the web is people that are not running ads. They pretend like they do, but they're selling courses. They're not running any ad strategies for themselves to see exactly what works. They're getting it from somebody else, and that person's getting it from somebody else. Or they run an agency, and they don't actually manage anything themselves. They hire crappy, cheap people to do the work, and that's it. So do you want real information coming from somebody who manages dozens of accounts and has the pulse on exactly what works and what doesn't work coming firsthand from somebody who just does the strategy on the accounts, not the actual busy work, but the actual strategy and focuses on that 40 hours a week? If so, this is the channel you want to subscribe to. I also have a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog where I write down step-by-step strategies that we find that work that you can follow like that, with screenshots, with everything you need. If you like my channel, you're going to love my blog even more in addition, so you should definitely also check that out as well. Beyond that, I also have, of course, run an ad agency here. If you're looking for somebody to just do all the work to get you the results and the stuff that I talk about on this channel that works, this is exactly what we do for clients here at our agency. And unlike any other agency out there, though, we guarantee results for our clients up front. That is, if we promise you that you're going to get twice as many sales after working with us in the same ad spend as you had before, we do not take a fee unless we can deliver that for you up front. We're the only agency, like I said, that offers anything like that puts their money where their mouth is. The only catch is we got to know we can get results with your stuff, of course, up front before we take you on as a client, and therefore don't work with just any client. But if you want to see if we can work together, reach out to me at guaranteeppc.com. I'd be happy to give you a free assessment on what you're doing and estimate how much results we can get for your brand up front, like that. As a side, if you do not like working with ad agencies because you want to manage your own ads, that's fine. But if we did work in your niche space before, which we've worked in over 100 niche markets in this last 10 years of running Guaranteed PPC, you should take us up on our offer of the ads, landing pages, campaign templates, all that we develop for your market that we know works. So you can literally copy and paste the results we're getting in a different geographic area into your own ad account and get the same results we are with none of the work, time, effort, money that it took for us to figure out the golden version of what works in your niche market. Of course, if you're, as long as you're in a different geographic area as our client, there's no reason why you can't use what's working in one area in your area, whether that be a different country or city or whatnot. We've got people that use these templates to start up whole different businesses and have something that works relatively quickly because you're starting with a campaign that we've many times spent years building up to figure out exactly what works in that space and as well as what doesn't. Whether that be people getting into e-commerce that are just getting into it for the first time, or somebody that wants to do a lead generation business as they want a passive income business idea strategy, where they're selling leads to people in a certain space and we know how to get them at a rock bottom cost using a certain ad model that works. You can do all of that as well. If you're interested in any of that, you can also reach out to me at guaranteeppc.com. But I'll wrap everything up with that. Hopefully that made a lot of sense to you, what I explained to you on today's video, and I'll see you on the next one. See you later.